know I'm insane and I know I'm the internet's favorite crash out, and the demands are as such. Abolish ICE.
Imagine destroying your entire future just to protest Trump in a way that will have absolutely no impact. We're going to talk about the latest absolutely idiotic TikTok trend that's self-destructive beyond belief, plus a crazy incident where a pro-life YouTuber got attacked for her opinions, anti-Trump protests hit delusional and self-defeating new heights, and so much more. All coming up on today's episode of the Brad vs. Everyone podcast, my daily show where I take on the craziest ideas from across the internet, our media, and our politics, all from an independent perspective. Up first, there's a new TikTok trend where people are threatening to go on a debt strike to protest Trump or the American government or something like that, although how it will actually do that, not really quite clear. Let's dive into one viral video where a woman explains her plan, and it starts out interestingly. I guess that would have to be how you would describe this. Take a listen.
You know what? Okay, I know I'm insane and I know I'm the internet's favorite crash out.
Okay, I mean, points for self-awareness, but not the greatest start. Let's see where it's going, though.
What I'm gonna say right now is I'm not paying my debt anymore. What we're doing from this point forward is a debt strike 2025. If I have to do it alone and be insane, I will!
Oh, I don't know why anyone would find you insane. I'm not getting that vibe at all. Like, who is this we? It might just... actually, you know what? I want to say it's just her, but then there's 88,000 people that like this video and just comment after comment after comment of people saying, yeah, I'm doing the same thing, or I've been doing this. We'll get into all of it, but this is not just one crazy lady. This is apparently a thing they think they're going to try and do. What could possibly go wrong?
I literally will. The fact that we would continue paying our debt, we can't stop paying our rent because that's too crazy. It'll put a lot of people in harm. I'm sick of protesting. It does nothing. I don't want to go to war because look how skinny my arms are. We have to do something. I'm not paying my debt. You can join me on this or you cannot.
Oh, not paying your rent will harm you. I mean, true, you'll get evicted, but not paying your debt will be just fine. You know Google's free, right? You know there are actually some pretty serious consequences that can happen when you just refuse to pay your debt, like the complete destruction of your credit score that will ruin your ability to own a home or purchase a home or get a car loan or get a credit card or all sorts of things that adults kind of need at some point. Oh, and massive late fees and penalties, getting referred to a collection agency that will harass you endlessly isn't fun from what I hear. I can't relate to that, obviously, but not fun from what I hear. Not something I would recommend, but that is what will happen to you if you take this young woman's advice. So maybe don't. You can also get sued. You can have your wages garnished. You can have a levy against your property and so much more. But oh my God, we're going to protest Trump and it's going to be amazing. Yeah, because he's totally going to care that you ruined your life financially. The math there, not quite adding up, but go off, I guess. She's cooking. Let her cook.
I'm gonna take a picture of, and I'm going to keep records of the debt that I have right now, because when the interest rates go up on that, I'm not paying those either, even when they start to meet our demands. And the demands are as such. Abolish ICE.
What? The demands of your debt strike, number one, is abolish ICE. Abolish immigration and customs enforcement. What does that have to do with anything? And also, you know that's insane, right? Like, I'm pro-immigration. I support legal immigration, people coming here legally to contribute to society. I even am not the biggest border hawk when it comes to mass deportation. But some people do need to go, actually. The cartel members and the gang members and the people who come here and commit crimes or fraudulently take welfare. Those people do need a free ticket out of our country from ICE. And the fact that you think we could just have no ICE, defund the border police, oh my God, open borders, that's actually wild and insane. And again, what that has to do with your personal finances or how you refusing to pay your credit card debt is going to abolish ICE. The math isn't even not mathing. Like, there is no math to speak of. The math is not in the room with us. You haven't even attempted a logical calculation that could be incorrect in the first place. But it gets worse, y'all. It gets worse.
Okay? I want those men home from El Salvador. I don't care.
What? No, okay, we've talked about this on the show, and I'm concerned that people are being sent to this El Salvador prison, like wrongfully, that they haven't been proven to be gangsters or whatever. But that's a prison for the worst terrorists and criminals on earth. And she's like, I want them home as soon as possible. Girl, what? What is going on? And how? How did 88,000 people see this and we're like, she ate, yes, double tap, endorse. Are we okay? Are we really that cooked? I think we are. I think we are, actually.
And we need to protect Medicaid. The Department of Education needs to be restored. I want critical race theory in the classroom, period.
Yeah, because clearly our education system is doing such a great job educating young people today. Babe, this is not the endorsement of the Department of Education that you thought it was. I'm sorry, it's not.
We need to literally be delusional. I'm gonna be delusional right now. I will stand here right now, be delusional, make fun of me all you want. This is what we need to do. This is what we need to do.
I'm not sure I've ever encountered somebody openly being like, yes, we're delusional and we need to be more delusional. Usually they think they're being like serious and on point, and I have to explain to them that they're being delulu. She's like, no, yes, delulu is the salulu. I just don't really know how to respond to that. I guess I have to give her some points for like basic self-awareness, but yikes.
And if they don't meet our demands, then what we're gonna do is then we're gonna stop paying our rent. But for right now, stop paying your bills. Stop paying your debt. We're gonna start there.
Oh, what? How is not paying your rent going to change anything? What do you think? Trump and Elon Musk are gonna be like, oh no, a couple thousand more people got evicted because they refused to pay their rent. Guess we should abolish Doge. Like, what even is the calculation or the strategy here? You're just telling people to make themselves homeless for what? Exactly. Huh?
And it's like, what the do I have to, oh, my credit score for the house that I'll never buy? I already am not allowed to rent because I don't make enough money. I have to have a cosigner anyway, so what does my credit score even matter? What does it matter, bro? Literally, what? I want Doge out of office. We're done with him. We're done with him. And free healthcare for all people. I'm so dead serious. Guys, we're done with this.
I don't know about y'all, but I'm not super keen to take like economic or political cues from people who think credit scores don't matter and are advising people to stop paying their rent. Like, I love a good crash out. I'm not gonna lie. I have been known to crash out from time to time, but to record yourself doing so isn't the move. First of all, it's like no one asked for you to do that. And two, you should still try to like make sense. Like, your little rant, if it goes viral, it would be good if it had some actual points in there or some substance, because otherwise, what's the point of getting it out there? Just embarrassing yourself? But apparently, y'all, some people actually agreed with this. Like, a lot of people agreed with this. Or, worst yet, said, yeah, we've been doing this. One person wrote in the comments, y'all have been paying debt? Question mark? 6,000 people like that comment. Another person wrote, I saw in a post that said, the Lulu is the Salulu, and it's so tralulu. Okay, guys, the brain rot is getting out of control. Can y'all chill with that? I know I indulge, I know I participate, but like, even for me, I know I'm cringe. That's a little cringe for me, okay? Another comment said, we need to stop paying taxes. That will get their attention. I mean, true, it will get their attention and get you sent to jail or hit with massive penalties and fines at minimum. Other than that, great plan? Another commenter wrote, haven't paid my debt since 2023. They be calling every day. I block the numbers. They make more. I ignore them. I ignore their emails. They email daily. Don't care. To which the creator replied, it's literally all made up. Babe, it's not going to be made up when those wage garnishments hit. It's not going to be made up when you try to buy a house one day and you can't. It's not going to be made up when you can never get a credit card again. It's not going to be made up when they put a lien on your tax refund and all this other stuff. But they actually think this. Like, maybe this is just civic and financial illiteracy, the epidemic of it in our country, and how we're not properly educating young people on how this stuff works. But thousands upon thousands of people actually think like this. And that is astounding and concerning to me. But the top comment on this post actually accidentally kind of made sense. This person wrote, "You have 35% of your paycheck taken in taxes. That means you work 4 months a year with no pay. After 50 years, you will have worked 17 of them with no pay. Slavery never ended, it rebranded." And 17,000 people liked that comment. Now, I do think comparing it to slavery is a bit much. Nobody's being whipped and forced to work in the fields. But she, he, they, them kind of does have a point that taxes are out of control. Now, mostly for people like me who have jobs and people like you who have jobs and earn a living, not for people who don't really have jobs or earn not very much in income, so they basically pay no federal income taxes. But yeah, for some of us, we are getting taxed like this, and it is outrageous. And maybe some of the audience on TikTok is productive members of society that does get taxed like that. I just have a suspicion the creator is not, but no tea, no shade. But they do realize that what they're advocating for with progressive left-wing economics and all that noise, free healthcare for everyone and all that, you'd have to like double federal taxes. So you're mad about it now, but your entire agenda rests on massively increasing it for everyone. And no, not just for the rich. The math there does not add up. You could confiscate all the money from all the billionaires and the one-time source of funding and not even fund the government for an entire year at its current levels of spending, let alone before all the new stuff y'all want, all the new freebies and never-ending goodies. I really do think this generation that's coming up is suffering from an epidemic of audacity and entitlement and a complete and utter lack of basic accountability. And some of them are going to do this. They are going to mess around. And at some point, we're going to just have to let them find out the hard way, I suspect. I don't want that, but I'm not really seeing an alternative at this point. What do you guys think? Did you find this video as concerning as I did, or are you somehow on board with the debt jubilee? Let me know in the comments what you think of this TikTok trend, and do consider hitting that like button or subscribing if you haven't yet. Heads up, guys, before we get into our next story, I wanted to let y'all know I'm considering taking some voice notes from you guys, my loyal listeners, as part of the show. So I will put a link in the episode to leave me a voice note. Just include your first name, tell me a story about yourself or something, or ask me a question, ask me for advice, anything like that. Would love to hear from you guys and do a little bit more engagement in some of our shows. There'll be a link in the description to where you can leave me a voice note. Up next, this pro-life YouTuber got viciously assaulted by an angry woke woman, and some people online are happy about it. So this young woman, working with Live Action, a pro-life organization, did some man-on-the-street interviews where she was just talking to people and then arguing with them about their position on abortion, Planned Parenthood. We don't even need to get into all that. But a random lady on the street couldn't handle her opinions, so she viciously assaulted this young woman. And the reaction and the fallout to this is actually potentially even more disturbing than the footage, which I will roll for you now.
So you went from saying that my outfit was really cute to saying I'm an effing idiot. That's so mean.
But I think that your point of view is very obstructed, and I think that you just don't understand the magnitude of having a child.
Yeah, well, I'm not the one who admitted they would be okay with killing babies in foster care and killing children that have been abused.
That's not the point. What I'm saying.
That's really.
Stop telling me.
What's wrong with you?
Stop telling me. Stop my.
You have a
Oh my god.
Hey! What the f did you do? Alright. Yeah, she attacked my wife.
Alright.
Your wife just attacked me.
Yeah, so why you wanna?
Why is that following me? Why you following me?
I'm gonna get arrested. Look.
Stop my.
Don't worry.
She just punched me in the face. We were just doing a street interview with my camera and everything was fine for over 20 minutes or however long we were filming, and then she just punched me in the face. Oh my god.
So this is evil. This is insane. You do not have to agree with this young woman. I know I have people in my audience who are pro-life or pro-choice. It's a very complicated issue. It's nuanced, and you might find that what this woman has to say offensive, or you might disagree with it strongly. That doesn't matter. She's not doing anything wrong. She's not doing anything illegal. She's not breaking any laws. She's talking to people on the street. And this unhinged woman crashes out on her and punches her in the face and makes her bleed. It's insane. And it's all on camera. You know you're being recorded. Yeah, so we're going to need her locked up. I mean, is New York City really this wild and that people think they can just do this kind of thing on camera and not get punished? I can't believe it's that bad. Like, there will have to be some accountability for this. Surely. Because you can't just do that. You don't have the right to beat people up because you don't like what they're saying. You have the right to walk away, end the interview. Heck, I wouldn't support this. You could even cuss her out. You could tell her exactly what you think of her and her ideas, but you do not get to hit people just because you don't like what they have to say or their perspective. Not in America. At least you're sure as heck not supposed to be able to do that. And there's no cutting this just one way. If y'all can just beat up on a pro-life person because you don't like their opinion, then in some red state, people can just beat up on the pro-choice person. This is not a game that anybody, no matter what their politics are, should want to play, should endorse or support. It's cruel. If anything, it's so counterproductive. It only makes the pro-life woman seem way more sympathetic and obviously probably get more positive media coverage and attention to her organization and more fundraising. So whatever you thought you did, this woman thought she did her big one. Actually, it's a massive own goal. And you're probably going to catch a charge, which you should. Of course, stuff like this does happen as much as I wish it didn't. So I wasn't like shocked by it. I was slightly floored, though in hindsight, I really shouldn't have been. I was slightly floored, though, at the response online, at least somewhat, where people were like applauding the woman that beat down this poor young woman. Yeah, seriously, that was the take in some corners of Twitter. One tweet literally read, LMAO, that's literally what she get. Lucky she ain't do a bit more, sharing the clip of the beatdown. And that tweet had 62,000 likes. People actually heard that and were like, yeah, I agree. She deserved to get beat down for having a different opinion. What? What is wrong with people? Another tweet read, nah, no shade. I do think more people wouldn't spew BS and be condescending if they gotten rocked at least one time in their life before. 79,000 people liked that tweet. Oh, and this one is a man cheering on a young woman getting punched in the face. Disgusting. Beyond disgusting and classless and trashy. Now, I, on the other hand, will always condemn political violence, whether it's on the left or whether it's on the right, because we cannot coexist in a country where people use violence to settle disagreements. It is not the way we do things here, and once you go down that path, once you open up that Pandora's box, that way, madness lies. Okay? So set your opinions at the side. Check your opinions at the door, y'all. We have to be able to come together and say that beating down random young women on the street because you disagree with them is actually not okay, is not cute, is not a yes, king, go off moment for Twitter. And if y'all find yourself ever so caught up in the dehumanization of your political opponents that you are applauding suffering or violence towards them, that's when you know you gotta stop, you gotta seek help, and you got to reevaluate. What do you guys think of this story? It's honestly a tough one to even talk about or run through, but it happened and it's going viral, so we had to cover it. Let me know in the comments what y'all think of that one, because wow. Up next, this queer protester may have just gotten herself deported. So the context here is that on Friday, they had this big anti-Trump rally in DC and across the country, and one of the speakers went up and said this, which I was astounded by the stupidity of it. Take a listen.
My name is Gracia Martinez Rosas. I am an immigrant. I am undocumented, unafraid, queer, and unashamed.
Y'all, are we serious? Is she serious? Are people actually this dumb? The President of the United States is following through on his campaign promises, his tough on immigration position, and deporting. In his view, he's trying to deport millions of undocumented immigrants. I've always been a softie on this issue. I've always supported some kinds of amnesty for some of the people here illegally, and I only want to deport the ones who are harming society, committing crimes, abusing welfare, that kind of thing. But he's going after everybody. That just is what it is. And you're going to get up on stage on a televised national event protesting the president and say, hi, my name is so-and-so, I'm queer, which, okay, irrelevant, and I'm undocumented. Babe, you're about to be deported. And Like, I'm not going to feel bad for you. I will feel bad for some of the people who are getting deported, but not you. You just played stupid games. So of course you're going to win stupid prizes. Like, it's the audacity for me to think that you're what? Because you're queer, because you're a Democrat activist or something, like you're special or you're different and you can just declare on television that you're an illegal immigrant and ICE isn't going to come get you? Bro, Trump probably is seeing this shared by all the right wingers who inevitably shared it, which was incredibly predictable, and speed dialing Tom Homan to come get you. And again, I can only have so much sympathy. At some point, I feel bad for people who were brought here as a minor by their parents illegally and they didn't choose to do it and they've grown up here. I don't want them sent out of our country unless they've done something harmful or wrong since they've been here. But like, I don't have it in me to feel bad for people like this. And then watch, I'm sure we'll be hit with the tearful TikTok video from this woman when she's deported to wherever. And I am just not going to have it in me to feel even a little bit bad at this point. Call me heartless if you want. I don't care. Speaking of this protest, this was not the only cringeworthy moment from this event. Take a listen to this nice little musical melody we were treated to at another event.
We are very big on the chanting, and y'all have all the energy today. So, no Trump, no KKK, no fascist USA. 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 Hell yes!
Really? Really? Y'all can't criticize Trump without the hyperbole, without the over-the-top rhetoric, as if that has worked just so well. Screaming Nazi, fascist, KKK for years now. That's just been hitting. Everyone's been really compelled by that. Oh wait, it's literally not at all been working for y'all because you're the boy who cried wolf. And I'm sorry, I've criticized him on this show on many different things. Calling Trump and the Republicans the KKK is stupid. It's absurd. This man literally appointed black cabinet secretaries, gay cabinet secretaries, Hispanic cabinet secretaries. He had a multiracial voting coalition for him. You can make a lot of criticisms of him, but the idea that this presidency is some KKK adjacent movement is just detached from reality. And if anything, is actually really wildly insensitive and offensive to the actual victims of the brutal terrorism of the KKK historically. And people are still alive today who were victimized by them. You think the progressive crowd would maybe be a little more sensitive about that, but no, anything goes when it comes to protesting Trump. The cringe is just off the charts, and I'm sorry, but from what I saw of this widespread protest day, at least the moments that went viral, it seemed like a lot of these resistance types haven't learned much about what they should actually be focusing on. If they really wanted to beat Trump or foment a resistance to him, they would be criticizing actually things that he has done. They would be uplifting individual people who have been hurt by his policies. They would be talking about the ways his economic plan might harm everyday people. And they would be offering a positive vision of their own agenda that they can offer to uplift and help people. Instead, I guess they're just going to keep yelling Nazi, fascist, KKK, whatever, because that's just worked so amazing. Clearly, they've learned nothing. At least some of the activist types at least haven't. All right, guys. I can't really handle any more Delulu today. I feel like I've already lost some brain cells. So do please consider hitting that like button. Do consider subscribing. If you haven't yet, do comment with your thoughts on today's show. Also, please consider sending me a voice note to possibly play on the show and respond to. The link is in the description. And with that, we'll talk again real soon.